Alrighty, so hello there. Whatever time of day or evening you're finding this, thank you. Thank you for trying out this meditation. That means so much to me. You know those signs in storefronts that say, "We appreciate your business"? I like to keep that phrase at the forebrain of my mind. It keeps me humble. And so when I say, "I appreciate you," I really do mean it. Because if I wasn't able to reach you, whoever and wherever you are in the world, then there would be something missing for me. It's not just, oh, I'm throwing out a meditation. It's, I'm throwing out a meditation for somebody who really might benefit. And that's humbling to me. So I appreciate you and your business. Let's begin. Sit comfortably any way you like. I would take a pillow, take a blanket, take something to give yourself a little bit of height. Place it under your bum. It'll make your hips higher than your knees. That takes pressure and strain off of your low back, and we need that for sure. But perhaps you're not feeling like sitting upright. Perhaps you're not motivated for that at all. And that's why I say sit any way you like. In a way that's comfortable for you. That might be laying on your back with your knees bent and your feet hip-width apart. That might be sitting up in a chair. So whatever works, I'm good with it. I'd like you to start by taking a long breath out. Not a deep breath in, but move your lips away from one another and exhale out. Now, some of you might breathe out and it might sound like this. And that's just a result of a lot of air being caught up and stuck in your upper chest. So we're going to do it again. Take in a breath as much as you can hold in, not overfilling. Then just open your mouth when you're ready to let it go. See if you can exhale out to a count of 4 or 5. Let there be a tiny pause on the breathing. And then let yourself breathe naturally in. Pause it at the top of that breath. Open your mouth and bring your right hand or your left hand, wherever you're dominant, to your chest. With your mouth open, move all the air out that you feel trapped in your airtight lungs. Now just with your hand still on your upper chest, take a slower breath in. Pause it. Move that all the way through. You will recognize that it's one thing to meditate. It's a whole different playing field when we right away start incorporating, moving out some of the exhalations, slowing them down, taking the breath in slower. That is what starts to settle you on the inside. Let my voice and my instruction for this meditation settle you where you're unsettled inside. Keep taking a slow breath in, hand right there on your chest, on your lungs. Just keeping your hand there gives you a physical presence to the intention of moving the air fully out See an image in mind that you're emptying your lungs right to the bottom. The air's out. Pause. Let the air come in slower. At the top of the breath, pause. Let the air go out slower, but all the way through. Now, if you can, take your hands, finger pads really, to the sides of your spine and start massaging out. Go up as high as you can reach. In fact, it might feel good to just make soft fists and just in a clockwise motion with soft fists, circle down the two sides of your spine. And don't just, don't do it like you're going through the drive-through. Take a few moments to really feel like, wow, where am I tight? And if you go up into your upper mid-back, as close as you can up by your shoulder blades, however you can reach. I know it's not easy. I'm doing it right now as I'm guiding you, by the way. So I know it's not easy. But if you release any of the physical tension in the upper middle spine, you will feel there was a tiny doorway of opening for easier access to breathe in and breathe out. Try it again. At the end of that breath in, there's a pause. And on the out breath, move it all the way down. All the way down. Hold the image in mind of a number. And take the breath all the way down as you get to the end of that number. Okay, great. Now take your right hand to your upper left chest. Take your 4 finger pads. Have them close together. And just massage out your upper chest, underneath the collarbones, and just right across the pectoral muscles. It's very slow, circular motion. You don't have to go so deep, especially if you're pretty tight. We're tight from upper body strength, but we're also so tight from not letting enough exhale fully go free. So massage that out. Go up to the tops of your shoulder heads. Massage all that out. Right hand to left shoulder. Then just go ahead. Take your left hand to your upper right chest. Massage that out. Any spots that you feel like, wow, that's really sore, that's really tight. There's an energy there that's stuck and it's been held. And the tendency is to avoid it. But to feel better, go towards it. There's a phrase, and I have to remind myself of this actively all the time. What we resist persists. We've all heard that. Keep massaging out right across your upper shoulder, your trapezius muscle, left hand to the right side. Go ahead, get in there. But what we look at disappears. So as you go towards spots that you're like, oh, that's tight, or oh, that's sore, massage it out and you'll start breaking up that energy. Now, if you break up energy in your upper chest and your middle upper back, there will be a little bit more freedom. To let the freedom ring on your breath in and it going out in a more settled, relaxed way. And that really is the secret sauce to the mind. So if you had a little physical tension, I wanted to work with you on it. I wanted to work with you on some of the exhalations, because otherwise I don't really have a shot and you won't feel successful calming your mind down to try to meditate. So now that we've done that, I'd like you to do one more thing. I would like you to take your hands to your head. For those of us that are stressed and anxious and worried all the time, the energy is right in the head. That's why the breath is locked in the upper chest. I want you to just simply massage out wherever your hands feel guided to go. The body has a knowing. I know exactly where I need a little bit of relief, a little bit of love. Massaging out your head is giving yourself mentally a little bit of love. Just go ahead and just your finger pads are just going all around. Go wherever you feel guided to go. Think nothing of it. When we're in our head, we overthink all the damn time. Think nothing of it and just let your hands go where they want to go. And you'll realize, wow, my body really does know. My body knows where I want to go. It knows where it wants the hands to go. But the other cool thing is it knows when you get out of your own way in your mind, which I'm right there with you. The body knows where it wants to go and what it needs to do, who it wants to be around that feels good. When you've done that, I want you to just take your hands all around your head and literally just brush off your head. Like go right through your hair. Doesn't matter how much hair you have or don't have. It's not about that. Just literally like you're washing something right out of your skull. And then just bring your right hand across the top of your forehead. So right across the forehead and hold it there. Close your eyes. Bring your left hand to the back of your head. Find a spot that's comfortable. Usually like middle, lower. Bring everything of your focus to the mind, calming down. With the right hand across the forehead, it's an energy medicine trick. And it is keeping the blood in the frontal lobe. It keeps the blood in the forebrain. And our stressful thoughts create a physical feeling, put us on an alert state within ourselves. Automatically, just our thoughts will make that blood rush right out of the forehead center and go straight down into the limbs. And it turns the stress response on of cortisol and adrenaline. And maybe this whole scenario is going on in your head and getting you really stressed out or just on alert. And maybe it's not actually a physical experience happening in the moment. It's just you in your head. And I don't mean it like it's all in your head. I mean it the way it sounds. Our thoughts turn on our stress response if they are stressful, if they are frightened, if they are anxious. Our thoughts turn on our stress response for fight or flight. And after a long time of that energy and that constant pattern and that constant grip and that constant cycle, we are wired to feel internally endangered. So I'd like you to take this meditation, take the little bit you've done with me as a conscious act of not just removing the feeling of threat, but replacing it with an internal safety and security within yourself. And your mind that struggles to meditate, it's not against you. It's nothing to reject. It is more than likely suffering from being overloaded in a stress response. And after a long time of overload, we just shut down. So this is bringing you to a place. So yes, you'll have better focus, but it's bringing you to a place of a deeper calm and resolve within yourself. And that is something we're going to practice. And guess what? For most of us, myself included, if you've been wired for more of the stress response than you have the peaceful, grounded, calm, relaxed, parasympathetic nervous system response, it takes practice. Practice is just you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again. And every moment, every time you sit down to meditate, you are putting a deposit in a mental bank. The stress response is constantly withdrawing and depleting our mind, depleting our energy, depleting our bones, our physical bones. Take a long breath out. I have to practice this all the time because I'm an empathic, sensitive, sensory, kinesthetic person. So I don't just hear words and have experiences, I feel them. Great if they're groovy, not so much if they're like daggers coming at you, you know? And if you have a lot of that, it can be really anxious to begin a day, to dare open your front door, etc. And that comes from some extremes of simple stress response. Take out the story, it's just, yeah, it's been an extremely, extremely stressful. And trauma is just an overwhelming state to deal with stress, especially extreme stress and trauma. Okay? I hope that helps you. Let's take the last few minutes with your mind hopefully a little calmer, therefore able to focus. Bring your 10 fingertips together. Stare right down with a soft gaze, so lower your chin a little bit to your chest. Stare right down with a soft gaze to 10 fingertips touching. The 10 fingertips physically touching gets to be the physical anchor. Our mind that wanders off, our mind that's got so much coming in and so much, affected from what's coming at us from the outside, it needs a physical anchor. Your 10 fingertips touching is not a thing to think, are my 10 fingertips touching. It is to feel, are my 10 fingertips touching. So as much as this meditation is calming and quieting your head, it is clearing you and creating a calmer space within so you can stay more connected to your physical body and the feel. And the feeling is the language of intuition. But when we're in our head, we have no ability to not only access that, but if we even can, we're too stressed to trust it. But the feel is guidance. So feel your first thumb tips touching. Your gaze is softly beamed and directed, funneled, if you will, right to your thumb tips touching. Your thumb tips are physically touching. The mind doesn't have to think about it. When it feels like that, you'll feel it, and that's how you'll know. And we have feelings all the time because we're emotional. We have emotion. We have an emotional body. But it's normally drowned out by stress, by an internal dialogue, by an inner critic, or the opinions and the words of another outside us. Your thumb tips are touching. How do you know they're touching? Oh, because I feel it. How do I know? I know because I physically feel the connection, thumb tips touching. Is it not easier to feel the connection that's already present? That's been present all along. But if your mind was wandering off and your mind was too loud and crowded, it won't be physically connected to it. And for a mind that's been jumping around for a long time, like the House of Pain song, like jump around, it's practice. So if the mind wanders, no need to get up stressed out and mad at yourself, criticize, just turn your boat around. Drop your attention to your thumb tips touching. Feel the thumb tips touching as an anchor for the mind to stay with the body. And if you have to do that often, add no reaction to it. Just, whoop, yep, I was present and then I went off. I was present and then I went off. And then I come back. And I come back again. And I come back again. And you know what's so cool? Drop your eyes over onto your first index fingers touching. What's so cool is when you notice, oh, I wandered off. Like you even knowing that says that you have a deeper awareness. So when you get aware, begin again. Index fingers are touching. Index fingers get all your concentration. You're not pushing them together to feel them. There's no force. When there's a feeling that's like, there it is, it's actually the opposite of effort. Go figure. One index finger gently pressing against the other creates that spark of knowing. The two come together and there's power in that, as opposed to just you focusing on one index finger. So the power of two is just a deep relief to the mind. The more you drop down into feeling the index fingers touching, you realize it's a practice more of self-assurance and trusting what you know you feel, as opposed to second-guessing. Drop your gaze right on over to your middle fingertips touching. Position your hands any way you need to see them, but all your concentration, funnel it. Funnel all the concentration. Instead of your mind wandering off to this and that, instead let it be a practice of funneling and channeling all your concentration to your middle fingertips touching. And the more you're feeling the middle fingertips, the less you have to concentrate on them, because there's a physical feeling from it. And you'll feel it in your way, and I'll feel it in my way. And as the mind starts to settle, you're dropping in and underneath your surface head chatter, the usual way you and I both think. You're moving away from your personality self, which is comprised of who you've been all these years, your habits, who you're related to, your circle, your upbringing, your conditioning, and it's so much about what everyone told you. Can you practice dropping away from what you think and drop down instead into what you feel? And let that be bigger than all that surface noise. Drop your attention to your third fingertips touching now. Your third fingertips touching. As your mind gets quieter, you'll physically feel calmer. Your heart rate will slow down. Your attention will be really mentally and physically connected in the now moment, in the body you've been in your whole life. Third fingertips touching. And as you start getting quieter in mind, guess what happens? We are shutting off the stress response and moving into your body's natural relaxation response. And we start activating that again. And you'll notice when you're in a really relaxed place, it's no work to breathe. You're not fighting for air. You're not fighting for your life. You're just in response. Drop your gaze onto your pinky fingers touching now, please. This is a practice that I need in my life right here, right now, probably more than ever. At the very least, you know what it does? It reminds me who else out there might also need this, might be willing to try it, might say yes where they always said no, maybe more than ever. Pinky fingers are touching. Keep letting your focus drop down into your pinky fingers touching. And notice if your breathing has perhaps smoothed out. Seems like it's coming in a little more relaxed, with a little more free flow, but not a gasping for air. All your concentration in all 10 fingers touching. All your concentration in all 10 fingers touching. Keep dropping yourself down, 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 down. If you were taking an elevator in your own mind, drop it down and really land on all 10 fingers touching. Your mental focus just lands. It stops flying around like a bumblebee or a wasp or a fly, and just all 10 of your fingers are touching. All 10 fingers physically touching. No force, no work, to knowing. When your mind is really connected and dialed in, you just know. You just know. I know because I feel my 10 fingertips touching. How do I know my mind is more calm? You just know. You know it inside yourself that you physically feel more settled. I hope that you feel more settled. I want to say this too. It can be pretty edgy if you've been wired in the stress response. To relax and to feel a little more settled can sometimes feel potentially threatening, like it's not safe for me to feel this relaxed. It's not true. Your body has been starved and your mind has been starved for it. It is not safe for me to be this relaxed is an effect of a very deeply wired stress fight or flight response within. And sometimes it's not even extreme. It's more just a constant, subtle, high alert energy within us for the day, or at night and we can't sleep. Again, I resonate completely, so I humbly offer you something. As a practice, tell yourself right now, it is safe to calm and relax. Because if you don't feel that you are, if you feel that grip just as you start to touch down into a deeper, just letting go, you have to tell yourself, you are safe. You are safe. You are safe. You are safe. Your body wants to relax. Your body wants to feel relaxed so that you can be in your center. Your intuition will guide you. Your mind is a little quieter. And all that is helpful to any actions you take today or tomorrow. Finding your center, finding your peace has everything to do with your greatest empowerment, has everything to do with you being your best, has everything to do with your mind healing after years of stress response suffering. Finding a peace and a grounded, calm relaxation has everything to do with you rising and taking on the day. And as you find that and you start to crave it, put yourself around the people that also leave you feeling that way. Finding your peace has everything to do with your creativity, because you can calm your head down, to have an open space, to get inspired, to be creative. Finding your peace is naturally, energetically motivating. Finding your peace shuts off cravings for unhealthy things that the stress response is trying to beckon you into. Finding your peace has a steadfastness to it. Finding your peace and your quiet and your stillness has everything to do with you becoming perhaps more than you ever would have believed possible. Under your stress response, under mine, is the relaxation response. And this is just a practice to practice hanging out there more. You won't be more of a slacker. You'll actually be really on your game and in your seat. Let's move closer to that. And how will you know? You'll feel it. You'll feel what gives you peace, who gives you peace, and what doesn't. And you can take the story out and just go, oh yeah, these situations, these environments, these people, whoever that is, whatever that represents, they're keeping me charged in a stress response. Ooh, not good for my head, not good for my peace of mind, not good for my physical health and well-being, etc. Go toward the people, the places, the environments where you can just be. You're going to be always more in your body and far less in your head, because you're going to feel safer. Because you're not in you're not in that fight or flight space, or you're not in places where it triggers up your fight or flight space. This is a meditation, some energy work, a discussion on the stress response versus the relaxation response. Feel more of that. even if it was frightening in the past. Build on that in the now. It won't always feel like triggering. It won't always feel edgy. And in that peaceful relaxation response, you'll choose love. Because it's so much easier to be in your heart in that space. And your mind will know it too. Time and time again. When you want to feel better and you decide you deserve to, finally, you'll choose love. You'll choose support. You'll choose that which challenges you, but not to throw you off the cliff. Just to become better. See you again.